Hello everyone, my name's Nider. I am the coach of the Montreal X-Clouds in the P4G, hosted by our Lord and Savior, Calais. I'll be discussing my draft picks, cause why not? And honestly, just don't see why I shouldn't. Cause got some interesting stuff I got. Example, round one, Volcanion or Volcanion, whichever way you want to say it. This thing is a monster. Has 110 attack, 120 defense, 130 special attack. It's a monster. I believe it has 90 base special defense. Not that bad. Speed, it's a little lacking. But this thing's got monstrous moves: Overheat, Steam Eruption, Hydro Pump, Scald if you want to run it, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Earth Power. I believe you even get Stone Edge, Flamethrower. It's like this thing comes with moves for days. Honestly, I could use this thing as a wall. I could use this my offensive fire type. Not to mention this thing gets one of the best abilities to wall out its own weaknesses. Example, it's only weak to 3 typings. It's only weak to ground, rock, and electric. And it could deal with 2 of those very easily. Not to also mention, it walls out other water types, because if it's water absorb, that is amazing. Not to also mention, it has 4 times resistances, which are fire and ice. So, example, someone wants to send in a Weavile and try to take me with an Icicle Crash, I'm gonna be eating that like crazy. Okay, next up we got Thunderous T. Since I went back to back picks, since I go last, I got this thing because it covers my other weaknesses like Earthquake and Thunderbolt and Volt Switches. Because it's got that beautiful Volt Absorb. Like, what else can I say? It gives me more speed on my team, which I kind of needed, and it gets rid of my weaknesses on Volcania. Ugh, sorry. Throat's a little bad today, but either way. Not to also mention, I could also run this thing with Defiant. So if I switch in on a Defog, or let's say on an Intimidate user like Hitmontop, I will still get my attack boost, and it will hurt. This thing gets lots of moves. I believe it gets superpower. It gets superpower, HP. You can give it hidden power ice. I could give it hidden power dark if I wanted to. But I could give it a lot of other things like hidden power ground or thunderbolt, volt switch. I believe this also gets U-turn. In fact, I go check right now if it even has U-turn, because that would be awesome. So I could also run the physical. I could even give this thing. I could give this thing a choice scarf if I wanted to. Probably some other stuff I could give it. Let's see. Not many things you can really talk about Thunder Sea because it's just that good. Third, I know it looks a little bad but that's because the slide was made a little small in this one. But it's okay. For my third pick, I drafted Goodrux since I actually wanted Celebi to finish my Firewater Grass Core. Except, well, I got sniped earlier that round, which kind of sucked. So I took Goodra, which is bulky. I'm very familiar with this thing. It's freaking evil. It has 150 base special defense. Now, all I have to do is really give it, and it has great abilities. It's got Gooey. It's got It's got Sap Zipper, and it's got Hydration. So if I want to do a rain team with like Volcanion and Thunderous T, I could. To boost up that Steam Eruption or I can even give Hydro Pump if I wanted to. This thing is like very annoying and very hard to kill. It is weak to ice, which Volcanion does resist, thank goodness, but I also have a fairy resistance on Volcania, so that also deals with my with Goodra's defensive issue. I can't really do anything about Dragon because, well, there's not many things that resist Dragon. Going onward. I still can't believe this was there. And it's a little typo because I actually had to cover something up because I actually didn't get this actual slide right away. But as you can see, I didn't get Snorlax as I wanted. But I stacked Mega Gardevoir in round 4, which was crazy. Cause this thing is good as hell. Honestly, it usually goes in the either the first or the second round, and I desperately needed a fairy type. Honestly, if I didn't get Mega Gardevoir, I would have took normal Gardevoir this round. Cause it covers lots of things. And plus it could be bulky, it can be gimmicky if it wanted to, cause it gets skill swap. So you wanna send that Mega Sableye with Prankster? I'll take your Prankster away. This thing gets good stab, but that even gets decent speed. It has 100 base speed. It's the same as a Mew. Well, it's the same as any Pixie Pokemon. And this thing gets lots of deadly moves. It could set up on you, use stored power on you, Moonblast, Hyper Voice, Psychic, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam. The list goes on. This thing has coverage like crazy. Moving on to the pick, moving on to our next pick, which happens to be our Stealth Rocker, and honestly, overall, destroying defensive shit on this damn team, Metagross, because Metagross is awesome. Honestly, I don't know why this thing lasted so long and got all the way back to me, but honestly, I was not angry, because honestly, if I didn't get Metagross, I would have went with Aggron. And Aggron's just as good, except Metagross does everything better. Like, it has better defense, it has great special defense. Sure, it doesn't have sturdy, but it gets rocks. It gets Meteor Mash, it gets Power Up Punch, it gets Iron Head. Honestly, I could even set this thing up to do special attacks if I wanted to. And it's another wall, and it also completes my Dragon Fairy and Steel Core. It's looking very. I know my team is looking a little bulky right now, but it also got paired with offense, and it's also very slow. Now moving on to our next pick, I took Chestnut. A lot of people are iffy about this pick, but I'll explain myself. This thing gets spikes. It gets Spiky Shield, which is also pretty good. It also gets the ability Bulletproof. So it can't get hit like moves like Sludge Bomb. It can't get moves by like Egg Bomb, Sludge Bomb. There's a giant list of moves that it can't get hit by if it has Bulletproof, which is pretty good since Mega Gardevoir happens to be weak to moves like Sludge Bomb. So it's like, oh, you want to hit me with a stab Sludge Bomb? I can just switch to my Chestnut and immediately be immune, which is great. And plus, I also needed a Grass type. And there wasn't many grass bulk left on the board, so I had to take this. As I said earlier, Celebi got sniped from me, and I would definitely would have liked that more than Chestnut, but hey, I take what's left. After this, I believe I drafted one of the most weirdest picks that I got judged for during the draft. Shiftry. A lot of people may not know this, but it's actually a decent mon because it gets priority moves. It gets Defog, which is pretty interesting. Gets Leech Seed. I believe it even gets Explosion from not Move to. I believe it's Pre-Evolution. I could even set up Tailwind, which would actually be very necessary for my team since my team is very slow. Is looking very slow right now. Well, like example, if my Volcanion got some speed, it would just not be good for anyone. Because there's a Tailwind up with a mon that has like choice specs that will just destroy walls. As you can see, this won't really be made for offense. It'll probably be made for utility, even though it can't really take many hits. Like example, a U-turn, which would not be good for this thing on a Switch. But if I give it a Focus Sash, it might give me the chance to do defog something, or I don't know. It's like defog, Sucker Punch. I could even fake my opponent out, just hoping they don't have inner focus. Going on down the list, we got we gotta get our mascot, X-Cloud. This thing's a monster. I've actually, Crystal Key, one of the coaches of the Adelaide Umbreons, actually tried getting this from me. She actually wanted the trade request. She actually wanted me to trade this to her, but I'm like, I can't get rid of the mascot. Not to also mention how much of a monster it is. Assault vest, choice specs. I can even run this thing choice banner, choice scarf. I can run this physical. I can run this special. I can run this bulky. This thing is a monster on every way you look at it. Not to also mention boom burst. Hashtag boom burst. I'm bringing this to this season. Hashtag boom burst. The power. No one ever wants to. Not to also mention this thing gets scrappy. I don't know, but if you want to send in a ghost type, it's probably not the wisest idea because it's just gonna get boom burst. Not to mention this thing's got hella coverage moves. It gets all the elemental punches. It gets boom burst, as I obviously said. It gets shadow ball. It gets dark. I believe it gets dark pulse as well. It gets lots of coverage moves. Moving on to our, I believe, 9th round pick, Sandslash. A lot of people were judging me, but like it is pretty good on physical defense. Plus, I actually need another rapid spinner. Plus, I saw people have like very scary physical mons. I'm like, I could just focus sash this and use counter and kill their ass. Cause counter slash is fucking something not to be messed with. Not to mention, it gives me not to mention, it gives me a ground type, which I kind of needed, as you can see, because I did not have many things that resisted. I didn't have many things that had knockoff, nor stab earthquake, which are two very good moves and very common moves. Now to our 10th round pick. I know I didn't talk about Sunshine much, but it's not that great. It's not super good, but it's decent enough. For 10th round pick, I can't believe this slots it all the way to me again. Pangoro. If you don't have a fairy type, you're gonna be in trouble, cause this thing is a monster. This thing has access to Scrappy. It has access to Mold Breaker. It has access to Iron Fist. My God, this thing's a monster. It gets tons of coverage. It gets tons of evil things. I can even run Circle Throw on this thing, which would actually be kind of funny, because I could just Circle Throw into like spikes or Stealth Rocks, which would hurt my opponent every time they got hit. Plus, it gives me a Psychic immunity, which I kind of needed. Well, not many things I can actually talk about this thing, because this thing is just overall great. And the fact that it's in tier 4 and it got all the way back to me is insane. Now for our last pick, which I turned everyone's head since this thing never goes drafted. And it's actually very good. Venomoth. I know you guys might be judging me a bit, but listen, it's actually very good. We can baton pass. Yes, we can actually do the baton pass class is not affected since we're using GBA rules and GBA tiering. But things I actually like, this thing's actually not a pushover. I actually have 6-year-old people with this thing because they underestimated it. Like, example, I can just use Quiver Dance twice and just baton pass into Volcanion. What are you gonna do? Because now it's fast, has better special defense, and a lot more special attack. What would you do how are you gonna kill this thing? The answer is you can't. Like, yes, this mon's a little frail, but it also gets access to Toxic Spikes. It also gets access to Skill Swap. It even has great abilities like Tinted Lens, Wonder Skin, and Shield Dust. I believe one of them nerfs status moves, making them less accurate by 50%, which is pretty darn good. Not to also mention, I could also absorb Toxic Spikes, because this actually gives me a poison type, which I somewhat needed, and the fact that this thing never goes drafted shocks me. It also doesn't have bad stats. It has like I believe it has base 90 speed, like base 80 special defense, base 90 special attack, believe like 80 base defense or 70 base defense. It doesn't have the greatest HP or attack in the world, but hey, this thing's not bad. Like if I so wanted to, I could just choice scarf this thing and just toxic spikes and switch out into, and then later I can just go back into and just bug buzz or sludge bomb. This thing is very good. I don't like the fact that people underestimate it or make it say, "Oh, it's trash," when it's actually very useful. Example: if this thing goes, if the thing's like going on in the bulky Arcanine, and the Arcanine has Flash Fire, skill swap Flash Fire. Oh no, you can't hit it with Fire type moves anymore. What will you do? You can't do shit. Because that gets rid of one of its main weaknesses. And not those to mention, when a lot of people battle this thing, they tend to forget its typing, which is actually an advantage on my side. Since this Venomoth also gets Psychic, a lot of people tend to think it's Bug Psychic, when it's actually Bug Poison. So if people don't seem to remember that and then get hit with a stab Sludge Bomb, that's gonna hurt. Well, this has pretty much been my draft of the Montreal X-Clouds. You'll probably see us later this week battling I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name, but I believe it's Saramore of the Paris Politoads. This is the first week battle. You probably see my team builder on Saturday and the battle on Sunday. And I'll actually have the link to everyone in the league's channel below, including the channel league and Twitter, even though it's on the slides. So until then, watch the other draft analysis, watch the videos, watch everything. Follow us on Twitter, please. Come on, guys, we gotta make season 1 as lit as possible. Till then, peace.